Coming in related to Sourav Ganguly, Times now has learnt some details as far as mentorship in the Kolkata Knight Riders is concerned. For more on this, it's over to Anand Narasimhan.
Thanks, Ankit. And in breaking news coming in, first up, the Kolkata Knight Riders have confirmed Times Now's report that we put out on Saturday morning that they were keen on a mentorship role for Sourav Ganguly. This after the KKR did not put their hand up to buy up Dada and retain Dada in the Knight Riders franchise, even at the base price of $400,000. Venki Mysore, the CEO of the Kolkata Knight Riders, has dropped an open hint that they would want to have Dada on their side, but not as a player. Let's listen into what he has to say, because Sourav Ganguly has come back and said, sources have told us that he is not that keen on a mentorship role. Well, first up, I've got Atul Watson and Boria Mazumdar with me. Atul and Boria, this is confirmation of Times Now's report that yes, the KKR were keen on a mentorship role for Sourav Ganguly, not as a player, but they wanted him on his side. But let me get across to Boria first. Let's bring the bong in him and say, Boria, what will Sourav Ganguly be thinking? Should he or should he not think about such a thing? And what would be his stance? What have you learned, or what, you know, there is something that our sources are telling us that he's not perhaps that keen enough on a mentorship role.
You see, I'm very, very clear on this. Sourav Ganguly, if he was to be offered some kind of a mentorship, he should have been offered before the auction. You cannot just come out and humiliate or degrade an icon of his stature, coming out in a public interview at a luncheon interval and then say, oh, we'd be delighted. Absolutely, he should not take this. And I'm fairly confident. I know Sourav very well. I know he will not take this because he's not that desperate. I mean, he's not, willing to consider any sort of role for Kolkata Knight Riders as a fallback option. He put his name forward as a cricketer because he still thinks there was cricket left in him. Fair enough, you've not picked him, but that's humiliation enough. Just do not stoop to further levels and try and degrade him anymore, because I'm fairly confident that knowing Sourav Ganguly really well, I do not think he will even remotely consider such an offer. And I can tell you, as a confirmation, that sources very close to Sourav Ganguly have confirmed this to Times Now, that he's just not willing to consider this.
And I'm sure those feelers will be sent across to all the other franchises. But Atul, this is something even you said. We shared the shock, isn't it? Yesterday when Dada went unsold, he didn't go under the hammer. Nobody picked him up at his base price. But shouldn't the KKR, even the principals or the franchise owners, shouldn't they have done something similar to what the RCB did with Anil Kumble? They offered the mentorship role, and Kumble pulled out of the, asked Kumble to pull out of the auction way before the auction process began. That was all very nicely done and done in a very orderly and gentlemanly fashion. This looks like a slap in the face, doesn't it?
Well, we don't know what has transpired prior to the auctions. What happened with Anil Kumble, whether he was told or he made up his own mind. We don't know. But yes, it was done in a very classy manner. Kumble, as we all know, the kind of person he is, took a call on it. It's quite tragic how things have panned out for Sourav Ganguly. And I said it, I was deeply shocked. And, for a great player and a legend, this was humiliation. But in one manner, maybe we get led by some of the close advisors who may be not telling you the right things. And players have to take their own call about their marketability. I think probably at that point or that angle, Sourav has left himself open to this.